I thought I could show you guys some other interesting Nintendo stuff I've gotten lately, and this is a floppy disk drive. I'll show it here, which is this red box under here, which is actually a floppy disk drive for the Japanese Nintendo Entertainment System, which is called Famicom Disk System. Since it's Japanese, it uses a 60-pin configuration to connect to the system, and not a 72-pin configuration, which this one is. And to connect it, I use this adapter, which changes the pin configuration so it would fit. And as Japanese cartridges, this is called RAM adapter, which is a big chunk of plastic. And this one, as the normal Japanese cartridges, as well go in. As well go in backwards to the system, so it would match the configuration. If I there we go. The reason the Japanese had a floppy disk drive is because the Famicom cartridges are half the size, and most of them didn't have space for a backup battery to save the games, like this one, which is Final Fantasy 2. In the Final Fantasy games in Japan actually had battery backup, but most games didn't, and the solution for that were actually floppy drive system. And the interesting things with these, this is actually a protective cardboard that you insert in the system during transport. The floppy disk can run off AC power, a 9-volt power supply, or actually 6 C batteries, I think. And the surprising thing with it is actually with daily use it can last up to half a year actually on those batteries, which is really nice. I have a few games. This one were actually brand new, sealed when I got it. The original Super Mario Bros. 2, Metroid, Castlevania, Legend of Zelda. This is the original release of that game, and the game were actually one of the first to be released on floppy disks in Japan. These were also brand new, sealed when I got it. Another sealed game I got, which is called Falcyon, which is also a 3D game. In Japan they had another 3D system with this active goggles which you connected to the system, and you had this ridiculously large goggles which you mounted on your head, which generated proper 3D actually. I don't have those right now, but I want to get one of those. And here is one called Formula 1 Race. The reason I have this one is because yeah, I'll show you. We can try Super Mario Bros. For example. Discs themselves is a proprietary format, a special 3-inch system, and as you can see, it doesn't have a protective shutter on the disc, so these are quite easy to damage with the dust and fingerprints, etc. As you can see, it's written Nintendo on the disc itself. It isn't double-sided, so you have to flip the disc often, and this one is actually blank on the side too. And in Japan they had some kiosks around or almost all over the place where you could either use the blank sides of these or rewrite programs and just stick the floppy inside and it would write a new program on it. But this one have that tray on it, so very few had these. Most common is that one actually. And the positive thing with this, for example, this Japanese release of Castlevania, there are several versions of this, but the disk version, floppy disk version, can save your progress. The North American or European release of that game on a normal cartridge can't save, so once you turn the system off you have to start all over again. But this one saves your progress, so you don't have to do everything all over again. And now I can show you the game. This Super Mario Brothers version is the original second of the game. The second release we saw here in Europe or North America were actually a hacked version of another game called Doki Doki Panic, which is nothing like this game. It's because they figured that when they released it in North America, they figured it were too similar to the first game and too hard, so they used another game and changed the characters inside, and it's just a dumbed down version. I'll just turn on TV. I also actually got myself an Xbox from a guy at work. Really nice. And when you boot it up, you get this intro screen. And you have Luigi and Mario fighting over if the light should be turned on or off. And let's insert the floppy and see what happens. As you can hear, it's a lot of mechanical sounds. Probably not now, but the game boots up with this license screen. And here you go. It actually have around 3 switches inside, which when it reaches a certain point it flips the switch and retracts and blah blah blah. So it sounds quite brutal actually when it loads some games. Yeah. I can remove the disc. Another thing with the Famicom Disk system is that it utilizes in some enhanced audio capabilities, but the problem is that this white NES which I got, which is second release of the good old one there in North America. This is a North American one which is modified to output AV, but it doesn't have that expansion port. That one have the capability of that enhanced sound, but when they released that, they removed that capability because it were never used outside of Japan. So when I plug in, for example, Legend of Zelda which utilizes that enhanced sound, it would sound really odd on that system. Yeah, another obscure but interesting format released on the Nintendo. Thank you for watching.